Welcome to Healers Talk Healing, the podcast where we gather to explore the art and science of holistic healing, uncovering the secrets to a happier, healthier you. I'm your host, Nina Ganguly, and together we will delve into the intriguing world of holistic healing, delving into the mind-body connection, ancient wisdom, and natural remedies. Get ready for enlightening stories, thought-provoking expert interviews, and practical tips that will empower you to unlock your true potential and embrace a vibrant, balanced life. Whether you're an experienced wellness enthusiast or simply curious about the power of healing, join us on this exhilarating journey as we share the wisdom and insights that can truly transform your life. It's time to embark on a voyage towards a happier, healthier you. So, without further ado, let's dive into the captivating world of Healers Talk Healing. Welcome to our inaugural podcast episode of Healers Talk Healing, featuring the remarkable Lynne DeVerges, the visionary founder of the Miracles Directory. Lynne's journey is a captivating blend of spiritual depth and practical wisdom, shaped by over 30 years in the metaphysical realm. As an esteemed energy healer, teacher, and spiritual mentor, she specializes in guiding individuals on transformative self-development paths. Lynne's commitment to spiritual growth and helping others started in her early teens and has been the cornerstone of her life's work. Her journey includes significant professional achievements in economics and banking, yet she has always remained true to her spiritual calling. Today, Lynne stands out as the heart and soul behind the Miracles Directory, a platform she created to connect, inspire, and uplift those seeking spiritual and personal growth. Her unique approach combines deep metaphysical insights with real-world experience, guiding people towards realizing their fullest potential in both their personal and professional lives. Join us as we delve into the inspiring world of Lynne DeVerges, a true luminary in the field of spiritual and self-development. Discover how the Miracles Directory and Lynne's expertise can empower you to design the life you've always dreamed of. Yeah, so now we are live in effect, and I'm giggling because this is such an exciting time for us. I'm giggling because of who we are together. And It's such an exciting time for us, for the Miracles Directory, to be starting this podcast, to get this out into the world. We've done so much work, when we are a startup. So that's not a surprise at this moment in time. And when you are a startup, you do so much legwork setting the foundation, and we're finally ready to shoot off into the sky.
That is so true. We are ready to take off. Actually, I'm not going to say we're ready to. We are taking off.
Yes.
Right? So always be in the present with what it is you choose to experience. So that's what's happening. That's what's happening right now. Yes, I'm very excited too.
It is, I have learned, honestly, Lynne, I want to say first, I haven't had a chance to say this and I'm doing it publicly, what an honor it is to work side by side with you, to create this directory, to come into the world, to help people heal. Your energy is so contagious. Your leadership has been, I say, miraculous.
Thank you.
I'm saying this because I've had very different experiences across my whole working life. And I think this space, everything you do, leads to the moment that you're in, right? We talk about that all the time.
Of course, yes.
And so when we started working together, it's like we're working together. That is,
yes.
And that's where I know I shine the best, and a lot of people do, but this has just it's been incredible. I'm so excited to launch the podcast Healers Talk Healing.
Yay,
I've been doing I've been doing recordings in the background that are soon to come up after, we have this initial launch, and the people that we have on are so fantastic. And I asked every single one of my guests, obviously I'm going to ask you, the founder of the Miracles Directory, Lynn, what's your definition of healing?
All right. Well, before I get into my definition of healing, I just want to say thank you very much. It's beautiful working with you, working with your team, working with the other members of the Miracles Directory staff. Each of you, just wonderful expertise in what you do, something that I could not even fathom for myself. So I want to say thank you to you for just being such an integral part of this process. And I do feel that it's important to collaborate and be in partnership with whatever you're doing. So although I may be the founder of Miracles Directory, it's just as important to me that all of you have input to help give it the legs and the body and the growth that is needed and that carries the vision forward. So I want to thank you very much for that as well. So in answer to your question, what is healing, at least from my perspective? Healing is really a unity. It's a unification of body, mind, soul, spirit, heart. And where things often become separated is when we, for example, see something from our parents that they're doing, but they're saying something else. And it's that split message. Oh, don't do what I do what I say. Yeah. So then you pick up on something else, and it's true, because we all have strong intuition, right? We all are very powerful in what we just know or what we feel. That's often correct. But then when we're told that either it's not or it's something else or whatever the case may be, there's a split between what our heart knows, which is ruled by our spirit, and what our mind is hearing. And as we continue to grow in these experiences, we actually become what I call fractured in a way. We do not maintain a whole unity where soul says, this is the direction. The heart says, yes, got it, have the desire. The mind says, absolutely, we can make that happen. And the body says, let's go. Where that to me is the healing. It's the unity. It's the unification of the different aspects of ourselves as it's expressed. I mean, we are spiritual beings in a human body, right? But the human body does also have, there's a mind that's very similar to universal mind. There's the heart that is very similar to the universal love and energy of the heart. And our bodies, these physical bodies that our spirits own, actually mimic the way the universe works, which also allows us to be in harmony with the universe, which is also part of what I define as the healing process. When we're so connected within all these different aspects of ourself and the universe, then we have the healing. And if that happened for every person on the planet, see, this is where I had that vision. If this happens for every single person on the planet, just imagine how uplifting, how light, how bright, how divinely loving this planet would actually be. Yes, there will always be some challenges. There will always be little conflicts here and there, but we will have a sense of unity in that healing that really allows us to go, okay, I get that. Let's grow. Let's move forward. Let's, continue to stay in the vibration of the universe, of each other, of ourselves, and we'll just keep moving things forward. I really believe there wouldn't be the kinds of war we have. There wouldn't be the power struggles. There wouldn't be so many other things I could name that I won't go into right now. So anyway, that's my definition. Long explanation. My definition of healing.
I find it challenging that to hone in on, like, to be so concise inside the definition of healing, because there's so much you can say about it, and it's the journey of it is so different for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
For not everybody else, for others.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm curious about, which I think maybe a lot of people might be curious about, especially those knowing you and your journey, which we'll get into later. But
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about what led you to, want to create the Miracles Directory.
Okay, so first of all, it was a seed that was planted in the early 2000s. And the seed was planted because, as you know, as an energy healer and intuitive mentor, spiritual mentor, teacher, and so forth, people would ask me, "Oh, do you know a good massage therapist? I'm looking for an acupuncturist. I've been told I should check out a Chinese herbalist, but I don't know where to go." And for over time, of course, I develop and I'm working with other holistic healers. I'm working with spiritualists and so forth. And I start referring people. Well, hold on. Let me just see if I can get that person's number for you and send it. And I can't tell you how many times I did that. And then it was like, if I had a dime for every person I refer. Okay. And so anyway, fast forward, but of course it was kind of a joke. It was just in the back of my mind. It was about maybe 5 years ago. So I'll say 5 years ago that I actually had a dream vision. There are many things that come to me in my dreams. My dream experience, that's a better term for it. Dream experience. It's not really being asleep. It's not necessarily being in meditation, but it's being given the vision that has you stop and it unfolds. And so that's what happened with the Miracles Directory. And I was in conversation with my guides, and they started expressing and showing me what Miracles Directory should be. That you do need to create a resource guide, a directory for the world with lots and lots and lots of holistic healers that are helping people to integrate, unify themselves in the different ways I spoke about to be healed. And that this is part of how the planet is going to raise and elevate in harmony and vibration and to keep moving forward. So I basically received this vision. I heard what I needed to start doing, which began as, I'm just going to do a simple little website. And, I'm going to call my webmaster. She's marvelous, by the way. I'm going to call her and just have her do a little website, put some people's names and information there. And then I can tell people, here, go here, and you'll find somebody. That was my initial thought. And then as that was happening, I was receiving more and more messages. No, it needs to be this. It needs to be that. You have to add, this and that. This is about marketing healers. This is about marketing people who are the light workers, and so that those who are looking for the light workers can find them. Mm-hmm. And that's when it morphed into, and it's still morphing into what it has become today. So that's how it started.
I think it's so exciting, to be out there. And as we like to say, behind the closed doors, or maybe now more in front of the closed doors, like helping our light workers, our healing heroes, really cause miracles in people's lives so that we can move into a space where maybe we're sounding a little woo-woo, but like where the consciousness of the planet and the universe elevates so that we are in a space
Mm-hmm.
of healed people. Like
Yes.
we want to get to a place where we're not needed. And
Yes.
I'm saying we because we're
Exactly.
all healers, but get to a place where we're not needed, anymore. It's
Exactly.
like what I say with when I'm working with clients. I'm like, I want to get to a place where you don't need me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the whole end result that we want, that
Yes.
we are no
Yes.
longer in a space in time where our services are so needed, because
Mm-hmm.
right now we're there, which is
Mm-hmm.
perfect for all of us healers,
Yes. Yes.
but I think that this I'm happy that I'm here. I'm happy that we're doing this work. It is so important. you know
Mm-hmm.
there is this buzz out there in the world that we are stepping into a new phase, a
Mm-hmm.
new world, a new dimension, I guess.
Yes.
And I'd really love to hear your thoughts, because you have so much experience, over time, about this new world. Like, what does that actually mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, I understand. Well, first of all, I do want to clarify so it doesn't become so woo-woo. Part of the healing does bring about a true sense of peace, inner
Mm,
peace. Yes, it doesn't mean that things outside of your life aren't going on. It doesn't mean there aren't, again, challenges and conflicts, but there is still a very quiet peace within you, knowing that it is resolved. There's a quiet peace within you and a joy, knowing that when you have a question, it's already answered.
mm,
It's just for you to receive, okay? And so this is part of the healing process,
mm,
okay? And being in that space. So yes, the world is, as we can witness physically, this has been happening for a long time,
mhm.
is splitting into two. There are those, I'm going to use the word entity, and just so people can understand why I refer to that, is because, again, we are spiritual beings in this physical, or what appears to be physical world experience.
Mm,
So within this physical world experience, and when we talk about, our mind and the mental aspects, some people in consciousness, that means we'll say mindset, we'll
right.
just use that word. So some people in mindset are people that enjoy and feel they have to have a lot of power.
Mm,
And that means stepping on others, or that means putting others, aside, or abusing others, or taking something from others. That's one mindset. And then there's the mindset that says, I'm going to go la 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 la. It's all great and beautiful and wonderful. I will call it, for lack of a better word, the Pollyanna syndrome, where no matter what, it's all working out okay. It's fine. Well, the truth is, it does all work out just fine, and it is okay. This is how we grow. This is how
mhm,
we learn. But for those of us who are more in the mindset of, you know what? Everything is perfect the way it is. Everything's resolved the way it is. Everything is for our growth and for our continual elevation as a spirit, as a human being, because I can learn how to love unconditionally, because I can learn how to have joy even in the chaos,
mm,
because I can learn how to have absolute, again, peace and ease, even in the turmoil. And so there are those of us who have that mindset. Okay. Well, these mindsets have been melded together. And sometimes it wasn't always as easy to see the mindset of those who feel like they have to step on, they've got to punch out or whatever. But now, where our planet is today, where human beings are today, it's very divisive. And this is not just the United States. Of course, we can see it all around the world. What has been the different mindsets have actually shown up in this physical plane. And so, yes, what it's causing now is a whole nother way of thinking, feeling, and therefore being. And we're at a juncture where you're going to choose one side or the other. The reality, the real reality is that it doesn't matter which side you choose, because for those who truly seek the light and healing, whatever that means for you, you will experience it. You'll get there. Even if you're in hell, you will get to heaven, because that's what you're choosing to experience. So yes, we are in this multi-dimensional, vast experience. But it really, there's a definite division that's happening. So it's going to be like living in two worlds. Well, it is like living in two worlds. And right now, what we hear about most is what I will use the term the shadow side.
Yeah.
What actually exists is the sunnier side, the lighter side. And we need to increase the lighter side. We need to increase the mindsets where people, again, are getting the healings. And as I was describing before, to a place where it is so bright, the shadow side can no longer, be present in the same way. So that's the best way I can explain that.
That's a wonderful way of explaining it. I think that's, why it's so important that we are here at this time. Like, the timing is always a thing, right? It's like, you had this vision 5 years ago, but the thought started before that, and it's all culminating, I would say, at the right time. We're in the right time. We're in the right place at the right time for the right people.
Yes. Yes.
Causing these miracles, helping to shift, that make that shift a little easier for those who are looking to shift along with the unit and the universe and the planet into that next level. Yeah.
Yes. And also the miracles that are being created and that we are assisting to create are actually everyday experiences in extraordinary ways. That's what miracles are. Everyday experiences in extraordinary ways that continue to elevate our life, where we feel better, we accomplish more, we love deeper, we are able to think maybe more profoundly, or just be in that space of being. And in the experience of ourselves and the experience of others, in the experience of life itself, and being so grateful for it. This is what the miracles are. This is what the miracles are. And as one moves into the mindset of that and starts to practice some of these things through our, by the way, wonderful holistic healers that we have on the directory, they all bring something so special.
Join the Miracles Directory, where healers connect and wellness begins. Join a community of trusted holistic professionals, or find your path to healing and peace. Visit themiraclesdirectory.com. Start your journey today.
And can really assist people to move into this place where miracles can happen for them every day, every single day.
I think it's important for us to actually get that message. I'm saying us, the collective, us, when you can be in a place of gratitude. Look for the
Yes.
miracles. You're right. It can be something so, I think we think miracles need to be these big explosions of some huge thing that happens, and you're like, that was a miracle. You know
Right,
what I
right.
mean?
I was blind and now I can see. Well, yeah, you may be blind consciously and now you can see.
Yeah,
Yes,
and it's like
but it's,
a
mhm,
little thing that you would normally not consider something impactful, but there's this book called The Compound Effect, and the
oh,
theory
yes.
about, like, it's like compound interest, right? You have one little miracle today, another one tomorrow, another
Hmm.
one tomorrow, then you look back and you've had, like, look back in 30 days and you have 30 miracles in your
Hmm.
life, and you're not the same human being you were
Hmm.
30 days ago. And
That's true.
imagine then you impact that by the willingness to discover a difference for yourself by working with somebody who can help you even see those miracles, because some
Hmm.
of us experience them and we don't realize what they are.
That is so, so true. I mean, absolutely so true. It can be something as, actually, I was going to use the most recent flu that
Mm-hmm.
everyone had more significantly, and it's still, of course, mutating, but where you can experience something like the flu and have no symptoms. You've been tested and positive, but have no symptoms. That's not a small miracle. There's no such thing as small or big, but that's a miracle. It's something to be grateful for. It is knowing that at this present time, my body is experiencing something, but I don't have the symptoms of it. How extraordinary.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? So
Yeah.
we have these moments, and it is being grateful for all of that. And as you said, recognizing that whatever it is, it's a mom who's been who's been telling her child, pick up your room, pick up your room, pick up your room. And one day mom goes in there and it doesn't smell like a locker room. It's picked up. It's it's neat and tidy. It's not dusty. It's And you say, "Oh, thank you. That's a miracle." It was an extraordinary moment, right?
Oh yes, if you're
It
a
was
mother and you
it
have
was
children that are morphing from those sweet little children into teenagers and into puberty, it is a miracle for sure.
yes, and so it's an extraordinary experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just using these different analogies basically to point out it does, you're right, it doesn't have to be some huge, grandiose something or other. It can be, definitely it can be playing the lottery and hitting the $1 billion ticket, having the $1 billion ticket. But it can also be something as simple as, um, a person, a friend that you're talking to that's upset, that is feeling down about something, maybe even about themselves, and you being able to put an arm around them, say some words to them to help bring them, elevate them, and bring them out of that place and move into what I call a place of true reality of their actual worth, because they're 100% worth so much,
Mm-hmm.
even if they don't feel like it or recognize it in that moment. That is a miracle. And that's part of what holistic healers do. That's
Mm-hmm.
part of what our holistic heroes do with the Miracles Directory.
Yeah, it's just
Mhm.
it's incredible, because I think we're also in a place of this juxtaposition of authentic healing and then, like,
Yes.
the glamorized version of healing, where
Hmm.
self-care and trauma and PTSD and complex this, and you're hearing all of this stuff, which are all these catchphrases and words that we're using, so we're expecting some sort of, like, this, I don't know, to
Right.
happen, right?
Yes.
And
Although
it's
it
not.
can, but
Yeah. I
yeah.
was just talking to a friend about that. We were talking about, living a creative life. And
Hmm.
part of that, I think, is going on a healing journey. But
Hmm.
what was in the conversation was about the glamorizing of it, because a lot of people, they're on social media, they're not seeing the process. What you're seeing is the end result.
Exactly. That's true.
Most people, there are some people out there who are sharing their process along the way, but
Hmm.
there's a lot of people who you only see the end result of
Hmm.
all of the work that's been done. And like
Yes.
every little interaction, like you were saying, with a friend who's just able to say, hey, are you okay?
Hmm.
So here's my shoulder to lean on, and
Hmm.
then work through whatever it is you're working through. Just that little check-in
Hmm.
makes a huge difference, and it is a miracle for someone to take the time to see if you're okay, to see
Yes.
what it is that you need. And even
Hmm.
someone who takes the time to become a healer,
Hmm.
those are people who provide the space for those miracles to happen.
Yes, yes. And what's also, I think, so wonderful is that for those of us who are light workers, holistic healers, all of us have chosen to move into this way of serving people because each of us, in whatever way, have been looking to heal ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where it started. And that's where it continues to grow. There is an expression which is give a healing, receive a healing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we're so passionate about what we do and in being able to serve so many. And so the vision I was given was serve the masses, one person at a time.
Mm.
Serve everyone on the planet who is interested, who is willing, who is seeking, who is ready to take their journey, to assist, for the healers to assist them and do that one person at a time.
Mm.
And so this is where uh, I know that we can make a huge difference, where the miracles directory can, and our holistic heroes, I keep calling our healers holistic heroes because they really are that in every sense of the word, every sense of the word. Yes.
You said something about journey. So now I'm going to round back up to what's your journey been like? What's your healing journey been like? How have you gotten to where you are in this moment?
Okay. I'm going to see if I can keep this concise. You know, I like to talk. So
Talk as much as you want.
so so this play the music when you need to. All right. All right. So how did I start this journey? Actually, when I was 14, I had a dream
Mm.
experience. And I say dream experience because in this experience, it was late at night. It was about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was sitting across from someone, and that person I thought was a very powerful spiritual figure, which now I believe is, in a sense, more angelic like. Anyway, that person said to me when I was 14, you're going to do the kinds of things Jesus did. And I was like, what? What is this? And so I said, well, what does that mean? And so they said, well, you'll be able to heal people. You'll be able to discern and see, the truth from a lie. And then I said, oh, will I be able to raise the dead? And this spiritual being said, absolutely. I went, okay, I am not telling this to anybody because people will think I had a crazy dream and some kind of God complex or something. But with that dream experience, what this being kept doing was saying, so I need you to say yes. And I'm like, say yes? Why? You have to say yes. What if I don't want to say yes? I may not be interested in doing that. You have to say yes. I don't want to say yes. No, you need to commit. Commit to what? I don't want to commit. I mean, literally, this was back and forth for several minutes. And the energy was so strong and so powerful, and it became brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter, and he was like in front of me and he was behind me, and he was like, commit, you have to commit. And so I remember sitting up in bed and going, okay, I commit, leave me the bleep bleep alone, I'm done. Yeah, okay, I'll commit. What's interesting is once I said yes, the literal reverberation of energy that moved so deeply inside of me, these words don't even explain how powerful it was. I knew, and I said, oh, shoot, I've committed to something I can't get out of. I knew at that moment, but I really had no idea what that meant or anything. Anyway, fast forward, of course, I was 14. My youthful years was in the era of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And let's just say I was very much part of all of that. Not remembering the experience as I grew older, but immersed in that. But I also realized unconsciously I was trying to escape what I committed to. And so there were some instances where I almost died a couple of times. One was in a bad car accident where the car was completely totaled. It was a small little Fiat convertible, and the other car was one of those big, now this is early 1970s Impalas, the boat cars, and it hit me. Anyway, it took the jaws of life to take me out of the car, and I was not hurt. I had no glass was shattered everywhere, the whole thing. I had no cuts, no whiplash, no sore muscles, no headache, no nothing.
That's one of those miracles.
That was a miracle. And then there was another experience I had before that, maybe a couple of years before that, where again, I was part of the sex, drugs, and rock and roll period. And I had some, I don't know what to call it. I was imbibing with, some fun things, or at least what I thought was fun at the time. Really started going so high and getting higher and higher and higher until I just had a bad trip. Really, really, really bad trip, to the point I felt I could feel my heart pounding harder and harder. And I was like, everything in me was just going to explode. And then I started to pass out. And that's when I said, God, bring me down right now. Bring me down. And if you do, I swear I'll never do this again. And within literally a minute, I went from being super high and high to, oh, wow. Okay. Thank you. Literally. And I never touched it again.
Thank God for that.
But it's like the universe was bringing me back. Bringing me back. And so anyway, I was in turmoil. Internally, I was in a lot of turmoil. I had low self-esteem due to having been raped when I was 5, and then date raped a couple of other times after that. I had gone through some other challenging experiences, and I just didn't feel like I was worth anything, And so that's also part of, I call it the death syndrome or the suicide syndrome. A lot of people don't realize or understand this, but when you have so much internal turmoil and pain and uncertainty about who you are, and the depression that goes with it, the self-debasing talk and all of that, and then some of that, of course, is reflected externally because that's what you're carrying and holding on to internally. So as a result, take all the drugs I can, drink as much as I can, smoke as many cigarettes as I can. It's kind of like you're on a mission to kill yourself. is what that really is. Most people don't think of it that way, but that's what it is.
Like
it's like just to get out of the pain. It's self-destruction. And so anyway, in these instances, I was introduced to a woman I worked with who said, have you found Jesus? I'm like, I didn't know he was lost. What do you mean? And so
your cheeky self.
And I said, well, I was raised in the church. I was also raised in the temple because my grandparents are Jewish. And so I'm like, yeah, I know who Jesus is. She said, well, you need to be saved. And I said, okay. So she grabs me and takes me into the back of, area of the office, and we start praying and all of this. And then she said, okay, now I want you to speak in tongues. I said, what does that mean? Because I wasn't raised in that type of church. It was an Episcopal church. And so she said, oh, just open your mouth and just let, she didn't say Jesus. She said something else. Speak through the Holy Spirit, speak through you. And I said, okay. And I opened my mouth and started speaking. And she went, oh my God, you've been touched. You've really been anointed. She went through this whole thing. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Fast forward further. I did attend a church where I really delved into the Bible, but I was told that. And I have to preface all of this to say, since I was 6 years old, I have been able to see spirits and I've heard spirits. So my whole life, I never shut it out. And maybe that was part of the reason also I just had so much confusion and stuff going on. That's why I spoke earlier about the unity of spirit and in the physical body, because I'm getting all these messages out here and all these other messages on a spirit level, and then trying to make sense of it in this body was just like, So needless to say, I learned the Bible, and I was told by my angels to read the Bible. I did. Then I was told to leave the church after 2 years. Okay, I did. Then they started talking to me. I know this sounds crazy, but they started talking to me and teaching me physics and metaphysics.
Wow.
And they told me I needed to meditate. So I go to a wonderful place where I learned how to meditate. And the second week in meditation, the teacher said exactly part of the lessons that I had been hearing from my spirit guides, which is there's no time or space on an energy level. I didn't, and so I understood part of what it meant, but not fully. But when the teacher said it, I went, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. That place, that wonderful, wonderful spiritual center and church really helped me find myself. And again, God intervened because I had a close girlfriend. I knew she had to take the classes. I thought I was okay. Why I thought that? I was clearly delusional. Like so many people out there, you think you're okay, but you're really not, right? And so I said, well, you really need to go through this program. She said, I'm not doing it without you. I said, girl, no, you'll be fine. You can do it. She said, no, I'm not doing it without you. I said, I'm not going through all that. Anyway, I said, she was so steadfast. And I knew deep within my soul, it's exactly what she needed. She had to do it. She didn't have a choice. So I said, okay, fine. I'll do it. So I go to my spiritual teacher, who you had the pleasure of interviewing last week.
I did.
And I told him, I said, look, now, so-and-so is not going to take this program unless I do it. So this is the deal. I'll take the program, but I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. I just want to get the information, but I'm not going to do any of that healing stuff. And I'm not going to do any readings. And he just looked at me and laughed like you're laughing now. And he said, yeah, no, you're going to do the whole thing. And as it turned out, it's exactly what brought me, that long story, it's what brought me to where I needed to be. And it wasn't until after I was ordained as a minister. I had been teaching for several years and helping so many other people. And that's when the memory of the dream experience came back. And I went, oh, this is what I committed to. Because I kept telling people, oh, I'm just doing this until I find what I really want to do. That was what for 7 years. I was deep in it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just doing this until I figure out what I really, really want to do and really need to do. Because I was a finance person. I was all about finances, law, all of that. That's what I went to college for. That's what I graduated for. That was my trajectory. So all of this woo-woo spiritual stuff was like, I was interested in religion from the intellectual standpoint. I did have interest in that, but not all this other stuff. But I realized, oh, and then once I stopped resisting, and that's the other message I want to get across to people. The more you resist what you don't want, the more it's going to persist and happen. And that's because the energy of wanting is an energy that says, I don't have it, or I do have it and I don't want to experience it. But the brain hears it as, this is what I want, or this is what I desire, number one. And the other thing that happens is that you have so much emotion, which emotion is energy in motion. You have so much emotion around what
can you
don't
repeat
want.
that? Say that again, because that's profound.
Emotion is energy in motion. So when you have a powerful emotion around something like what I don't want, I don't want, I don't want, I don't want.
Yeah.
And it builds and builds, and I don't want it so much. I'm angry about it. I'm just, frustrated. I don't want it. Yes, that's what's going to persist, because that's resistance. And it is what you actually put into motion. Neutrality, great way, best place to be, because in neutrality exists love, peace, joy.
Okay. Well, that takes something though, Lynn. Come on.
Well, it's a journey. You asked me about the journey. It is.
I did. It's so true, though. It's true. When you're on sort of the other side, because I don't think there's an other side. I just think there's a journey that keeps happening over time.
You're absolutely right.
It's just like, I'm glad that you shared what you shared, because many people think, because like I was saying before, they see the result of the work that was done. And there has to be a willingness to do that work, because it's true, what you resist persists. So if you resist the healing, like the feeling, the going through the eye of the needle, so to speak, right? It makes it a little more challenging. I'm not going to say difficult or easy, because that's all, I think, relative. Subjective. I think, not relative, but subjective. But what I'm hearing in your journey is that there's no such journey, just so that everybody knows. I'm pointing out, so if you're watching us on YouTube, you can see what I'm doing. Making a zigzag of, this is really what a journey looks like. There's no point A to point B, like we say. It's like there's point A, and then you're going to go to minus A, and then maybe you'll go to Z or Z, depends where you're coming from. You're going to go all the way all around. Like, what I'm getting is, you are in finance, and in the world of finance and law, and very logical, intellectual things happening in where you thought you would end up. But the universe always has a way to bring you to where it has created the space for you to go.
Yes, it's true. It's very true. And my life, I was resistance queen. I was resistance queen for years. And Michael would so often, get a chuckle out of what I was doing or how I was doing it or what I thought I wanted to do, all ego stuff, right? And so, and I'm like, well, what are you laughing at?
It's like a parent watching their child do something they know is
Exactly.
ridiculous, but then you have to be like, okay, you have a journey, you go on your journey, and you
Exactly.
come back to me when you're ready not to be not so ridiculous.
Yes, yes, it's true, right? It's true. And so, yeah, so it for me, it felt like I never wanted it,
Mm,
which is, but yet there's obviously some part of me that did.
mm,
And I understand now and realize that that experience I had with the spirit guide, angel, whatever terminology you want to use, was for me to commit to my absolute core in such a way that allowed the universe to help me through all of the self-destruction, all of the resistance, all of the lack of trust, through the ego bull Twinkie, through, all the stuff that was there and steadily coming up through all the programming,
mm,
that is not necessarily the way that my mindset needed to be. To weed through all of that, it was a pivotal moment where I had to commit.
mm,
And it was also me before the age of 14, knowing that I had a lot of pain inside, but didn't know why or what it was about. The rape that happened to me when I was 5 years old, and then my life was threatened when I was 7, and then other experiences, all of that was, I blacked it out. It wasn't until I was 33 years old and had been meditating every day, twice a day for 4 years, that all of the memories, but especially the rape, it
mm,
came up. I felt it. I smelt his breath. It was like I was reliving it. It was in the physical tissue of my cells, which
mhm.
we know today for every trauma, for every experience, it is housed in the body, right?
Yeah.
So it was coming up and out. And that's when I realized and understood the pain that I had before I was 14. I was asking God to help take away. That's why the visitation, and I had to say yes, because by nature, I have a spirit that can be resistant or resist. And so when you start looking at, like you said, like the journey,
Mhm.
and you look at these different experiences, it's like, oh, okay, all of this makes sense. So when I had the, again, dream experience or vision of miracles directory, it's like, okay, you've done what you've done, all of these different things, experienced all of these different things. You've moved into a place of expanded mindset and elevated your way of thinking. And therefore, it's time to do this. Now I don't resist. Now I'm smart enough to go, oh, okay, that's what we have to do.
Mm.
And so that's how it really all, came about in that fashion. And so, no, I don't resist anymore. No, I'm not looking to do something else with my life. This is it.
This is it. And I will
This
just
is it.
speak on experiencing you not just as someone we collaborate to create business, but someone who's made a huge impact in my own spiritual journey and life. Is that, yeah, that's it for you. The power that you have, and in the beautiful way in which you support the people that you work with and the people that have worked with you. I have met so many wonderful people just doing the interviews for the podcast. Most of them have been, people that all of them have been people that and interact with, and have come on this journey with you because they've really, I'm not going to even say bought into, but for them this makes so much sense.
Yes.
So it's wonderful. And when your spirit is a spirit that's running through the directory, people who are listening and looking for either to be part of the directory or looking to find someone to support them through their healing journey, know that Lynne's infusion is throughout every one of the people that we have on there, that we bring in. I just want you to know, I know she's speaking about it, but I want to speak about it as someone who's benefited from both ends, the business end as well as the spiritual end, to say that, we're here to partner with you. As you grow, we get to cause miracles, and everyone's dreams and passions get fulfilled. Now,
Yes.
who doesn't want that?
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better. Absolutely.
So if you're interested either to find someone or not, please go to the Miracles Directory. It's spelled just the way it said, themiraclesdirectory.com. We would be so happy to have you on board in the directory. So happy to be of service. Lynne, I mean, there's so much that I could say. And I know you feel it from my heart.
I do. And I know you very well. Yes. And you do have a big heart. You're also a great healer and someone who is about service to others. And for me, that's important with the directory, that the people who work behind the scenes, the people who are doing the healing, that every person involved is someone who has dedicated themselves to the service of others in the way of healing. So it's definitely, it's a united effort all the way around.
Well, thank you so much. And I'm sure we will get together and have another conversation.
Yes, we will.
At some point, because, we could talk forever.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
So until next time, thank you so much. Please, if you like what you've been hearing on the podcast, please make sure to comment, like, share, and until next time.
All right. Until next time. Thank you so much, Nina.
Thank you.
Appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us today on Healers Talk Healing. We hope you've been inspired and empowered on your holistic healing journey. If you've enjoyed today's episode and want to continue learning and growing with us, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, and review our podcast. Your feedback and support mean the world to us. Remember, healing is a lifelong journey, and you have the power to transform your life in profound ways. Stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop believing in your own capacity for healing.